Extra, extra, hear all about it. Extra, extra, hear all about it. Hello again, hockey fans. Are you ready to brave the wild with me, your host, Paladino Joey, or Joey Awajan? Brave the Wild is available on the Hockey Podcast Network and, of course, on your favorite podcasting app. But it is on the Hockey Podcast Network, also known as THPN. That's code THPN. I really want to thank all of you once and always for downloading and listening to the show. It is a great pleasure to be back on board with you once again today. The Hockey Podcast Network coming in out of Vancouver, British Columbia. I want to thank Dylan and Kyle forever and ever for having us on board that wonderful network and website. Again, like I said, extra, extra, hear all about it. Well, it's an extra episode. Thursday night, what the heck? But didn't you just record on Thursday morning? Yeah, well, it was like, who knows what's going to happen? What if we don't win? You know, there was a 2-1 lead by Dallas in this game, you realize? And thought maybe it's going to be Game 7 and we'll have to wait things out and da-da-da. And we'll talk about hopefully the Wild winning an epic Game 7 in Dallas. And, yeah, I mean, it was what it was. I waited for Thursday. It was what it was. And I still got to do, you know, and the funny, like another team across the river playing in Target Center, they kept the name of their arena all these years, also had a Game 6 to the 3-2 lead, and they also won. So a absolutely historic night for Minnesota sports. Unfortunately, it's just the first round, but hey, it's the first time ever that the Minnesota Wild and Minnesota Timberwolves advanced to the second round. We'll hear about the Timberwolves tomorrow on Timberwolves Explosion. That is going to be a lot of fun. We'll see how that turns out. Very impressive performance by those guys. Very impressive performance by our guys here in the St. Paul side. Of course, I don't live on the St. Paul side, but the Minnesota Wild do. And wow, a 5-2 win, and yes, the score is more lopsided than the game was because of empty net. But that's part of the game. I mean, you go empty net because you're trying to get that extra attacker to win the job, to win the game, tie it up, and tie it up and hopefully lead to a victory somehow, some way, like overtime or whatever, which the Dallas Stars did do successfully earlier in this series. Well, at least they tied it up late, and the Wild ended up not winning. That would be in Game number 3, much to our chagrin here in, the Twin Cities and all that. And, well, Wild fans, that could be across the Great Divide as well. But Quinn Hughes with a Kirby Puckett-like performance, taking it, y'all, or no, did he say you all? Yeah, I don't know if they said y'all as much back in those days. But, yeah, hey, you all, jump on my back. I'm going to carry us tonight. Kirby Puckett carrying the Twins in a Game 6 victory to force a 7th game in 1991, but he also did the exact same thing in 87. A much younger Kirby Puckett, well, 5 years younger, was flying around those bases, had those 4 hits, and led the Twins to victory and forced the 7th game against not the Arizona Cardinals, the St. Louis Cardinals. I believe the Cardinals had just moved to Phoenix, the football team, but the baseball team was still there. But Quinn Hughes doing a Kirby Puckett-like performance, 2 goals for Quinn Hughes. Just absolutely great, absolutely epic. And, of course, he was the guy they talked to at the end of the game. And he said, I just love being on this team and these guys and everything like that. So, good signs here. I think Quinn Hughes is going to be a Minnesota Wild for hopefully the rest of his career, and that'd be great. Jesper Wallstedt turning in another extremely strong performance. That's why the Wild took him in the first round. That's why Bill Guerin and Judd Brackett took him in the first round of the draft years ago. Because they saw him as a franchise goaltender, and he's playing like a franchise goaltender in this playoff series. Stopped 21 of 23 shots. Absolutely beautiful. Wonderful. Of course, Brodin was not healthy. I talked about it at the beginning of the show. Like, we'll see. Is he going to play? It's like, I was thinking he probably won't. And it was Jeff Petrie. Only 7 minutes and 13 seconds for him. 13 shifts, but hey, what the heck. Quinn Hughes and Brock Faber were being franchise defensemen. Spurgeon and Middleton. Middleton moving up to the second pair, and he actually had the third most amount of minutes. He's significantly younger than Spurgeon, and he's out there kicking butt, blocking some shots, and all of that. Only 1 hit, only 1 block shot, but hey, very important, as they always are. Quinn Hughes had a couple of blocks to go with his 2 goals and 1 assist in the game. Faber was actually a +3. Voldy a couple of goals, including the empty netter, and my goodness. But I was talking about Vladimir Tarasenko, and imagine taking him out and how big of a bummer that would truly be. Well, apparently, Brink was taken out for Sturm, and Sturm actually had one of the assists in the game. But Tarasenko, they were talking about, but Pat Micheletti was like, take out Tarasenko and Brink for Sturm and Yurov. Well, they brought Sturm for Brink, okay, and then Tarasenko stayed in. So I would have potentially gone in the Europe direction, but okay, Sturm did just fine, and thank you, Sturm, for doing a good job, though, of course, he did lose 4 out of 5 faceoffs. He lost. McCarron won 10 out of 14. Jules Eriksson 15 and 9 in the faceoff circle. Great job. Jules Eriksson has been great in the faceoffs, and it's really helped. Hartman even 8 and 5 in the 13 faceoffs he took. Boldy won the single faceoff he was in. So kind of a transformation here. As the Wild sucked so hard in the faceoff for so long. Most of the year and the first 3 or so games of the playoffs, they were just awful in the faceoff circle. Just awful. I was just going off, getting frustrated and angry. It's like, my God, win a bleeping faceoff for heaven's sake. And, well, they're winning some faceoffs. But no, the point about Tarasenko, leaving him in there, because it's like, you never know. You might get an extremely important goal here. And who knows? Maybe he's the guy that scores the Stanley Cup winning goal or something, or tying it up and forcing something special. But ultimately, Tarasenko would score the goal that would tie things up, and the Wild would never fall behind again. After the Dallas Stars made it 2-1, all of our hearts stopped for a second there, and it's like, no, please don't. Just wouldn't it be the most Minnesota thing ever? Both of these teams lose, and you have to go to Game 7 and you lose both of them. Wouldn't that be awful if both of these teams ended up going, losing back-to-back games and being out? Could you imagine how horrible that would be? Have a good weekend, guys. Hey, Joey, how was your weekend? Go bleep yourself. I don't want to be here, and I'd really, that's what I'd be wanting to say. But I wouldn't say it, but I'd be thinking it. Like, go bleep yourself. Don't ask me how my weekend was. Bullcrap, It's like, I don't want to be here, and I don't want to tell you how pissed off I am about what just took place, because, well, they don't care anyway. A lot of people don't watch sports, but you guys do. Thank you for doing that. Quinn Hughes, though, both of his playoff goals here. Quinn Hughes did open things up. We were all excited and all that. It was very early, 6.5 minutes in, and Wyatt Johnson on the frickin' power play, the Wild penalty kill, biting us again. It's like, gosh dang it. Stop it. Mavrik, he's a Maverick, all right. Michael Bunting back in there. Ila Lubchkin, assisting on that one to put the, it was 9 minutes after the Wyatt Johnson goal. Wyatt Johnson, of course, has been a Wild killer and been a great player all season. He has been the other guy with the 40 goals there, as they have 2 40-goal scorers in Dallas, just like we do here in Minnesota, with Kaprizov and Boldy. If you didn't know it was those two, I'm sure you did. But that 2-1 lead by Dallas late in the second period was like, oh boy. And what was it? 54 seconds later, this guy by the name of Vladimir Tarasenko scores. And Quinn Hughes getting his 6th assist in the postseason. Quinn Hughes is picking up where he left off with the 9 million assists he was getting during the course of the year. Putting the puck on net or making nice passes one way or another, creating rebounds or setting other players up. Tarasenko scoring his first playoff goal, and it was a big moment, man. It was a big moment. Less than 3 minutes left in the second period, and the Wild would never again fall behind in this series. Quinn Hughes would score right at the middle point of the third period, and it's like, oh my God, we're ahead. Oh my God, we're ahead. And Jasper Wallstedt stopped everything coming his way, and other players were making the big blocks and such, and you appreciated it so much. Block after block. And forcing players to redirect or whatever the heck it was, players on the Dallas side. And then ultimately Dallas would pull their goaltender about, the usual about 3 minutes or so remaining in the game. It was a battle. Wild would have opportunities. I thought Kirill Kaprizov was going to score, but he was tied up pretty bad. But then next thing you know, within the next 30 seconds or so, Boldy would be all by himself. And the celebration was on. Oh, my God. We finally advanced for the first time in 11 years. And it was against the Dallas bleeping Stars, who have owned us forever. And to be fair, even though the Dallas had been owning us in the regular season every bleeping year, no matter what, pretty much, until this year, basically. This was the first time it looked like the Wild were kind of solving them a little bit in the regular season. Kind of, sort of. We'd have a win and then we'd get stomped, but we'd, what were we, 2-2 in the season? So, but historically, this team has just roasted us, and it's bleeping frustrating like you wouldn't believe. Historically, just roasted us historically. I'm trying to rewind something so I can see it again. I want to see the Tarasenko goal again, but I didn't even see it. It's so frustrating. Yeah, the turnover. Yep, that was just an epic play. But pardon me, I just wanted to see it again. Because it's quite an epic play. But no, historically, Dallas had been roasting us. And then into 16, it's like, and the Wild were quite competitive in that series, or at least for the most part. The Wild were down 3-1 in that one, and we'd win Game 5, a Ryan Suter overtime goal to put us back to Game 6, but then we ended up losing anyway. So it's like, yeah, we were kind of competitive, but not really in that series. But at least we won two games in that series, so it's like, wow, we actually won 2 games against the Dallas Stars in a series. And then 2 years ago, the Wild were very much in it for the most part, but just Dallas was a little better, and the Wild built a lead, but then ultimately it just vanished, like they tend to do, much to our extreme frustration. Then you'd have that missed playoff year. Everything was just kind of meh and icky, extremely frustrating. And then, yeah, it was beyond frustrating. Everything that, gotten off to an icky start, and the Wild ended up missing the playoffs. And then last year, of course, the Wild had that similar situation, building a 2-game-to-1 lead and choking the series away. Whereas in this case, the Wild lost the 2-1, fell behind 2-1, and then we ended up being the reciprocal of what Vegas and Dallas has been against the Minnesota Wild the last couple of years here in the postseason. So we ended up being the reciprocal, the better team that fell behind and then said, no, that's okay, we're going to advance and you're not. Despite the fact that Ottinger is one of the best goalies in the league. Much as I don't like him, and I mean, it's not like I'm just pointing at him. There's plenty of players in the NHL that I don't like. You think I like McKinnon? Hell no. Landeskog? Nope. Screw those guys. I hope the Wild sweep them, but yeah, good luck. Plenty of players in the NHL I don't like. I don't like Sidney Crosby and Malkin. I actually agree with John Tortorella. He hates them. John Tortorella hates those guys. Hates them. I mean, listen to what he says in some of the historic press conferences when he was in the Eastern Conference. He hates them. He thinks they're the biggest bleeps ever, and they get all the calls in the world. Kind of like the Denver Nuggets. But anyhow, that didn't work out for the Nuggets, even though the refs were on their side. Okay, I said that out loud. Yes, I did. Yeah, they were, though. Come on. They were. If you watch the Wolves sometimes, if you switch the channel around because maybe you like sports a lot and you want to keep watching. But if your emotions were pretty much used up and you can't take the frustrations and back and forth of that Denver-Minnesota Timberwolves game, well, yeah, totally understandable because, holy crap, we just advanced and looks like we have a goalie that can get it done in the playoffs on a consistent basis. It's so beautiful. Boldy would get a second goal in the empty net to completely wrap it up with 15 seconds left. Almost like rubbing it in. I'm surprised the Stars didn't go crazy. No, I'm just kidding. It is almost like rubbing it in at that point because it's like 15 seconds. Yeah, in the NBA, they'd go crazy. But, well, if you strongly dislike or hate Denver sports fans, like the Nuggets fans, of course, we get a second dose of them again. We get a second dose of them now with the Colorado Avalanche. Their fan base is annoying and frustrating to deal with as well. I remember it very well in every single playoff series the Wild have ever had. Of course, Twitter didn't really exist back in 2003. In fact, it didn't. Or X Post. But 24, it was annoying. Nuggets fans and Colorado Avalanche fans, they like to be annoying, make fun of you, talk trash, and all of that. So it's going to be very interesting to see how this series goes about. The good news is the Minnesota Wild have historically played well, I mean, what I'm trying to say is, well, historically, yes, history is on the Wild side. We've won the series 2 out of 3 times. Both of them did take an extremely dramatic Game 7 situation where it felt like we were going to lose the whole time until, oh my God, we just won. In both cases, especially the first one, but really the second one too. The first one was just filled with Hall of Famers. That first team, that first Colorado team, Hall of Famer after Hall of Famer. Colorado, I think there's Hall of Famers up and down the lineup there as well, Brent Burns and such. We're going against Brent Burns in the playoffs for the first time ever, so that's going to be kind of emotional. It's going to be very emotional. He's had a ton of success against us historically, but he's in his 40s now. He's not the, superstar he was with the San Jose Sharks. The Wild are still yet to play the Sharks in a playoff series. Maybe we will against Scalabrini, though. That's kind of scary because they've had pretty good success against the Wild, even when they're not good yet. They've still had tons of success against the Wild, even last year. So that was frustrating. Boy, hell of a series, though. Who is going to bring home the Madonna Award for the series? Just on paper, you think, Boldy, he had 6 goals. Yeah, well, I mean, I appreciate what Boldy did, including the game winner in overtime. 2 of them were empty netters here. That game winner in OT a while back was spectacular. Didn't he have another empty netter? He did in the last game, didn't he, Boldy? So, Three of them, at least three empty netters. So, I love you both. Yeah, I really do. But the Mike McDonald Award winner for this series, geez, now I'm having a hard time. I have to give it to two people. You can probably guess who they are. A guy by the name of Jesper Wallstedt has to bring it in, and Quinn Hughes. Quinn Hughes going Kirby Puckett, but also was pretty damn good this whole series. For a while there, you could say Faber was actually better, and I think he was. But Hughes just kept getting better and better as the series continued on, and the Wild started winning games. Faber did everything in his power to keep the Wild in these games, defensively and offensively. And Faber deserves tons and tons and tons and tons and tons and tons of credit. Foligno also drawing a key penalty as well, having his moments and such. But Tarasenko with an unbelievably exciting goal that tied things up less than a minute after Mavrik Bork was able to put the Stars ahead of the Wild, which again had us all basically like the temperature in the arena must have dropped about 20 degrees when that happened. It's like, no. Oh my God, this is terrifying. And then Tarasenko with that spectacular shot, big time play. It felt like $1 million. And yeah, after battling and opportunities and such back and forth, ultimately things would go the other way. Just aggressive in this game. Eventually things would go back the other way with Quinn Hughes being spectacular as he's been. Faber with a 6-point series. Quinn Hughes with a 8-point series. Incredible. Quinn Hughes actually, 8 points. Just unbelievable. And Jesper Wallstedt has been so strong and so consistent in that net. And, well, he was the guy that helped the Wild defeat the Colorado Avalanche. But there ain't going to be no shootouts. So there's no shootout. So you can't have Jesper Wallstedt celebrating the shootout because there is not. You got to win on the ice, 5-on-5, and so on and so forth, and overtimes that never end. Just like that awful double overtime game, Game 3, which had us all literally sick and tired feeling the next day, and really felt sick at the nighttime and then super tired the next day. It's like, man, all that time, all that energy, and we lost, and we're probably done now. Like, this is so lame. Yet the Wolves, what the heck? They're actually up 2-1, and then they went 3-1. And had the Edwards with the hyperextension, and then everything kind of went down the toilet in Game 5. But then the Wolves put in a nice performance tonight. So we got a historic night for Minnesota sports fans, seeing both teams advance past the first round for the first time ever, including the North Stars back in the day. Timberwolves didn't make the playoffs back in those days. They were kind of, new. They were kind of new and crappy at the time, like expansion teams normally are, historically, until these modern times where it seems like expansion teams, are extremely rich franchises, like the Seattle Kraken and the Vegas Golden Knights. They made the playoffs. Well, Golden Knights went to the finals right away, or final. And Seattle, got to the second round, almost the conference final, and was it their second year? Since then, though, Seattle's pretty much been a non-factor for the most part. This year they looked like they were in it, and then it just fell apart as the year progressed. But I'm going down all these weird rabbit holes. It's late at night, and I'm getting, philosophical. I get kind of weird. And I've not had a drop of alcohol, though I will have a beer here in a minute, because I will. I don't really want to drink on the air. Of course, Larson going down with injury, which is really scary, but we hope he's okay. So that has us a little scared, a little concerned going into the second round here against Colorado. So that's obviously extremely scary. Conversation that I didn't even mention. Looked like an ankle injury. I don't think he broke it or anything, but I don't know. That's like the last thing we need is anything like that happening. I was midway through the third period or so. So obviously a dampener. At the end of the day, I almost didn't even talk about it because it's like your emotions are so high, but it's like, yeah, but this kind of stuff happened. Yes, but puck luck and all that good stuff was definitely on the Wild side for the most part. We appreciate it so much, and yeah, we'll take it anytime we can. Sometimes just shoot the puck and hope for the best, and that's kind of what happened with Quinn Hughes' second goal at the end of the day, and then obviously the empty netters wrap things up. But with all of that said, it's amazing to get to the second round, and hopefully hopefully Drew Larson has enough time to heal. No idea what the schedule is. I could attempt to look at it, but I'm guessing there's no real schedule set yet. Or is there? There's, what the flip? I can't even get it to load. I thought I was on the Minnesota Wild page, but I wasn't. So, okay, that's why. And there is none at the moment. Well, we'll be going into May, and they're not showing May, so it's not official yet. Maybe Sunday or Monday or so, the Wild will start playing the Colorado Avalanche. Unfortunately, that is not set yet, but we'll be talking about those games when they happen. At the moment, I'm still kind of thinking Avalanche in like 6-ish, especially if Julek Shinek is going to be missing time, and I hope he isn't. Brodin as well. But I'm just kind of, I don't know. I'm just kind of trying to play fair right now versus just Wild are going to win the Stanley Cup. They can. This team can win the Stanley Cup. They can. But, let's be fair. I don't want to come out just like a flat-out homer here and say Wild are going to win the Cup. But, yes, they can. But right now, I'm kind of sticking with more likely that Colorado is going to win the Stanley Cup, unfortunately, which would make you think that maybe the winner of this series is the one. NFL, there's almost every year in the NFL playoffs, the divisional round, there's always this one matchup that more than likely the winner of that game is going to go all the way and win it. And I kind of think there's a pretty good chance here that the winner of this Wild and Colorado series not only goes to the Cup final, but wins it. Gets there almost certainly. Now, again, you never know if you're going to run into a hot goalie or some other weird destiny, weird stuff going on, like an Edmonton just explodes or something, which I don't think is going to happen. In fact, did they lose tonight? That's the other thing. I'm too busy looking at our scores tonight versus the others, and the Ducks did win. Okay, so what's going on? The Ducks won, and they're not showing that they actually won the series. It must have just happened. Yeah, the Ducks won. It's 5-2, just like us. So, yes, the Anaheim Ducks, imagine being able to get revenge on those guys, or the Vegas Golden Knights, revenge on the Knights for a couple of recent playoff losses, or the Ducks for all those years ago. Obviously, a completely different generation now in so many ways. I mean, those are older guys. That's Gen X guys mostly playing on that team. Back in 03, in fact, I'd say everybody on the roster is a Gen Xer, technically, or at least close. Maybe Pierre-Marc Bouchard was kind of like borderline millennial Gen X. They call it Xennials or something weird like that. But, yeah, now it's mostly millennial. It's all millennial. Like the millennials are the older players now, and the Gen Z are the younger ones. And, heck, Alpha Gen might be jumping in the NHL here pretty soon. Isn't that weird? But, yeah, it's freaking weird. Makes me feel like an old-timer. Well, yeah, getting there. I'll be 47 in July, at the end of July. But enough about me. This is about you. This is about the teams advancing and all of us feeling like $1 million. The Wild advance past the Colorado Avalanche. And, the Wild advance past the Dallas Stars. Yeah, see, I'm losing it. I haven't had a drop of alcohol, and I'm talking like I'm drunk almost here because I'm tired. It's been a long day. A lot of emotion here, both these frickin' games. And working, too. Yeah, real easy day. And all the bull crap at work. But we'll leave that where that is. Wild, well, nope, I think the Avalanche win in, I'm just saying Avalanche in 6, just to be fair. But hope and pray it's going to be a total opposite here, Wild in 6, just like with Dallas. Go out there and do it. Go out there and beat them, guys. Go on. Go out there and beat them. It's 4 down and 12 to go. So that's the crappy part. You get to the conference final, you're only halfway there in terms of wins. Like, yeah, there's a lot of teams gone. There's only 4 of you left. But in terms of winning games, you're only halfway there. Isn't that weird? But you're 2/3 of the way to the final, at least. So that's the cool part. So there it is. Going to be a great upcoming series, and there'll be Ducks in Vegas on the other side, and the winner will play the winner of that one. Yeah, the winner of our series will play the winner of that one. So with that said, again, no fan interaction tonight. There was no new comments. So it is what it is. This is kind of a spur-of-the-moment show. And I should have read off the thing. You know the thing. I got to read that off, too. I'm doing a certain president. The thing. So, the Stanley Cup playoffs are here, and DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NHL, has a new customer offer. Bet player props. Bet live. from the opening face-off to the final horn, every moment matters. New DraftKings customers bet just $5 and you get $100 in bonus bets instantly. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app and use code THPN so you're ready for the moment. That would be like going to the Cup final, right? That's code THPN. Turn $5 into $100 in bonus bets instantly. In partnership with DraftKings, the crown is yours. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or 1-800-MY-RESET, pardon me. New York, call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY. Connecticut, call 888-789-7777. That just rolls right off your tongue. Or visit ccpg.org on behalf of Boot Hill Casino and Resort, Kansas. Wager tax pass-through may apply in Illinois. 21 plus age, 21 plus in most states, pardon me. Void in Ontario, restrictions apply. Bonus bets expire in 7 days after issuance. For additional terms and responsible gambling resources, see sportsbook.draftkings.com/promos. Limited time offer, copyright 2026 NHL, all rights reserved. So I really appreciate all of you. Thank you so much, DraftKings, for being a part of us here in the playoffs. We're proud to be working with you. Thank you so much here on the Hockey Podcast Network, baby. And in a very minor way, the Paladino Live Network, you could say as well. I guess it's just my shows in general. I just call it that. It's my own network, I guess. Unless somebody actually brings their show over to me, but I don't know if that's ever going to happen. Huge shout out to the Crease Podcast, of course. Love you guys. Derek, Teresa, Kalisha, Steve, you guys do an amazing job. Just love you, and looking forward to what you have to say about this series. It should be fun. It should be very fun. The Wild beats the Dallas Stars in the playoffs. The Wild advanced to the second round, and you just hope and pray Drew Larkin's going to be all right. That's my one major fear here. That one's bugging me right now. It's just the more you think about it, and it's like, the reminder of like, oh yeah, that happened too. The heat of the moment, you almost forget, and of course the Wolves right afterward. So of course you're going to get caught up in emotions and think all crazy and such. But what's Drew Larkin's next fate is a big question going forward. That looked like he went into the boards, kind of like ankle first. So of course I'm a little worried about that. A Russo tweet a while back. Eriksson Ek wiped out and crashed hard. Right leg first into the sideboards. He needed help to the bench and could barely put weight on his leg as he was aided down the tunnel. So, that is, that's the one thing. I mean, bleep these injuries, man. That's the one thing that it's like, oh, here we go. Now the injuries. Bleep these injuries, man. It's the last thing we need here in Minnesota. But with that said, thank you so much for listening. Sorry that I'm kind of doing two shows here, but I guess that's kind of the fun of it. Some of these historic fun wins that happen, you do special shows like this because it's a big deal. It's been 11 stinking years. One thing that I'm proud of is the fact that Brave the Wild existed last time the Minnesota team, or the Minnesota Wild advanced. And the time before that as well. 15 and 14. Brave the Wild existed back then. Heck, we even existed when we won our only division championship. Brave the Wild was brand new back then. So it was fun. Or actually, I think that was right before. It was like a month before Brave the Wild started. It was Paladino Live still back then. So like the original podcast that kind of split into the, Timberwolves Explosion and Brave the Wild and Purple Mafia. So anyhow, enough of that. Thank you again so much for listening. Hopefully the Wild are going to be ready to rock and roll versus Colorado. And Drew Larkin, please get healthy. Please, 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 please. All right. So take care. God bless and go Wild.